All right, so this video covers section 10.5, which is volume and surface area. So we have some volume formulas, we have some surface area formulas. So real quick, we have two examples for this section. So find the volume, express your answer in terms of pi, and then rounding it to the nearest tenth. So I see that it's half of a sphere, and we have a right circular cylinder. So I can find both volumes and add them together. So first doing half of a sphere. So we know the area of our sphere is 4/3 pi r cubed, from up here, 4/3 pi r cubed. And it's only half of a sphere, so we're going to multiply that by 1/2. So multiplying across 4 times 1 is 4, over 2 times 3 is 6, times pi times our radius cubed. So if this whole diameter is 6, our radius is half of that. So it's going to be 3 meters cubed. So we have 3 cubed, which is going to be 27, times 4 divided by 6 would give us 18. 18 pi meters cubed. So that'll be for this first top section, the half of a sphere. So now finding the volume of the cylinder. A cylinder is pi r squared times h. Notice, I think that this is supposed to be pi r squared times h. I think they forgot the r. So pi, our radius again is half of this 6, half the diameter, so 3 meters squared. Our height is 10. So we have 3 squared times 10, which will give us 90 pi meters squared. So now our total volume, adding these two together, will be 18, I'm sorry, this is meters as well, so we have meters cubed. 18 pi meters cubed plus 90 pi meters cubed. These are like terms, so we can add them together. So you will get a total of 108 pi meters cubed. So that's our exact answer. And then rounding it to the nearest tenth. So we have 108 pi will give us about 339.2. Looking next door is a 9, so it's going to round up to 0.3 meters cubed. Final answer. So the next example is finding the surface area. So I need to find the area of all of the surface of this shape. So I need to find the area of the outside of the shape. So let's start off. So the first thing is I see there's a rectangle right here. So the area of this rectangle is length times width. So we have 19 yards times 5 yards. Which will give us 95 yards squared. So if you notice, so here's one of these. Here's another one of these same dimensions. And on the other side, there's going to be one more over there and then another one. So there should be 4 of these same rectangles. So I'm going to use a highlighter to show you. So we have one right here. We have another one right here. So that's 2. On the other side, over here will be another one, and over here will be another one. So there should be 4 of those same rectangles total. So this is 95 yards squared. 95 yards squared. On the flip side should be 95 and 95. So it'll be times 4, which will give us 380 yards squared. So we also have this little rectangle up here. That little rectangle up there. So the area of that rectangle is length times width. Our length is 19 yards. This length is 19 yards. Our width is 3 yards. So 19 times 3 will give us 57 yards squared. So the only part of the outside that we haven't accounted for is this base that it's sitting on. So the base it's sitting on is another rectangle. So length times width. Our length is 19 yards again. Our width is 11 yards. So 19 yards times 11 yards is 209 yards squared. So that'll be the bottom base. So that'll be the outer edge of the shape. That'll be the outer edge of the shape. So now we need these two faces. So this side and this side. So if you notice, I can connect the dots. Up top we have a trapezoid, on the bottom we have another rectangle. So the area of the trapezoid up top so the shape right here, the area of a trapezoid. So going back to our 10-4 notes, the area of a trapezoid is 1/2 base 1 plus base 2 times our height. So 1/2. This first base is the same length as down here, so it's going to be 11 yards. Plus this base over here, this base is going to be the same as this base, so it's going to be 3 yards. Times by our height going this way is going to be 3 yards again. So 1/2, 11 yards plus 3 yards will give us 14 yards times 3 yards. So that should give us 21 yards squared. So that's going to be that red trapezoid. So if you notice, on this side there's going to be the red trapezoid, so that means on this back side there's also going to be another one of the same. So we have times 2 will give us 42 yards squared. So 42 yards squared. So the last thing we have to find is this area of this rectangle. So the area of that rectangle is length times width. Our length is 11 yards. Our width is the same as this width over here, which is 5 yards. So that will give us 55 yards squared. Just like we said about the trapezoid, there's going to be one here, and there's going to be one on this side. So times 2, which will give us 110 yards squared. So we have a lot of stuff going on because now we have to add all this up together. So our total surface area is going to be this 380 yards squared plus the 57 yards squared plus the 209 yards squared plus the 42 yards squared, and then plus our 110 yards squared, adding up all of these side areas together. So 380 plus 57 plus 209 plus 42 plus 110 will give us our total of 798 yards squared. Final answer. Final answer. So find the area of each face. A lot of these shapes have multiple of the same figures on them, so that's why we multiplied by 4, multiplied by 2, whatever the case may be, and then add up all of the areas together. So this is the notes for 10-5.